Hi guys, it's Carrie. I'm here today to talk a little bit about engaging our children in the practice of considering things with detachment. And when I say practice, what I mean is that detachment is something that we actively practice and do. It's a choice that we make moment by moment, situation by situation, to step back, to detach, to let go from our conditioned responses to things, and to make a more conscious choice about how to think about them and how to move forward. It's kind of based in having a certain mental spaciousness, having that moment, that pause where we can make a choice to respond instead of to react. And one thing that I think is helpful for us as parents is cultivating kind of a tool bag of strategies that helps us create that spaciousness for our children, that helps us slow them down when they're in those heated moments so that they have the opportunity to practice detachment instead of just kind of going on autopilot. So there's much to talk about within this topic, but today I thought I would just share a few strategies that have been really helping with my kiddos at home recently, and I hope that they might help some of you. Um, the first thing that I find is really helpful is that when my kids are coming to me and they're really escalated about something, a situation, a struggle they're having, a conflict that they're having between them, whatever, one thing I often need to do is to create that spaciousness first for myself, so that I can choose a conscious and thoughtful response instead of just, again, reacting in that conditioned way. Um, and so the first thing that I often do, I call taking a moment. And all that is that when my kids come, run up to tell me something and they say, you know, this is mine and he won't give it back to me, and this is what he did, and this is why that was wrong. Is before I say anything, I'll just take a moment where I'll remind myself to say, and I literally just take a breath and slow myself down and remind myself to have that space bubble that's going to help me think about what I really want to do next. How am I going to really guide my children through this moment in a way that it is an experience where they have the opportunity to learn and grow from it instead of just a situation where I try to, control their behavior, control the outcome, shut down what's going on, things like that. And then I often need even a little bit more time than the moment. And so some things that I might do are varied. It might include saying, you know what, I need to think about that for a minute. I'm feeling a little frustrated or I'm feeling a little angry and I want to come down. So I'm actually going to sit down where I am. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to breathe for 1 minute. And when I'm done breathing, I'll be ready to talk about and help with what's going on. And you can sit with me and you could breathe if you want, or you don't need to, but I need you to be very quiet so that I can calm down and do that. And then a lot of times my kids choose to breathe with me. They might hold my hand, they might just lie there on the ground waiting for me, but I just sit there and I really breathe. And that's both sort of role modeling what they can do in those situations in a way that's helpful for them. And also, it genuinely helps me create the spaciousness to choose what I want to do next. Sometimes, if it seems like that it's going to be hard for them to let me do that, or if I need a little more support with calming down, I'll also say, I'm going to pick one song to listen to and breathe to. And when that song is over, I will help you. And I have a mix of like calm songs that are very short, so that we can listen to that together. And that will calm both of us down. So we'll be ready to think about it differently. Sometimes, if they need something tangible to hold on to wait, I'll say, like, either I'm going to breathe while you look at the pictures of one picture book, or we'll both look at a picture book and then we'll talk later. But so all those things, we can't do those things every moment. Sometimes we just need to respond quickly. But when we have the chance and when we can tell that we're going to kind of go into a situation in a way that is not going to be helpful for the children in moving through it and not going to be helpful for ourselves in how we're feeling that day, it can be really helpful to give the kids a little bit of a structure around how we're going to pause. Once I'm ready to engage with my kids, I'll try to think of ways that will slow them down in thinking about what they're saying with detachment and with space so that they can really consider what's going on, not just from their perspective, but from multiple perspectives. So one thing I might do is I might retell the story that they're telling me in a neutral, calm way that avoids judgment or blame. So I might say back to them, I'm going to tell the story back that you just told me, and I'd like you to tell me if that's right and that's what happened. Um, you said that your brother could play with your toy, but then it turned out that he was playing with it in a way that you didn't want, and that made you start to feel angry. Is that right? And I'll just try to say it like that in a very plain way and help my children both have the spaciousness of me saying that. And I often say it in a very slow and measured way that kind of takes a little time to kind of just slow their pace down, bring them on down, right? But also that helps them hear the narrative, not in a blameful way, but in kind of a neutral way, and to feel understood. Mommy knows what happened. She listened to me. She understood. I can feel calm that someone knows my story, and that can help me relax a bit and decide more how I want to engage with what happens next. Sometimes, if it seems like they really need to be slowed down, I'll get out a paper and I'll say, this is very important that I understand. I want to write down your words so that I make sure that I really heard them. I might grab out a piece of scratch paper and kind of slowly write down. And let's say that one of my kids is really, because when kids are upset, they get escalated and they talk really quickly and try to tell you everything at once. And I use writing as a tool to explain to them how to go slowly. So I might say, oh, I actually can't write your words down quite that quickly. Let me tell you what I have so far. What comes next? And again, I talk in like a really slow, neutral, measured tone to help them relay the next piece of information to me, but in a calmer, more spacious way. And often just hearing their story told and understood can be enough for them. And often it's not enough for them, but sometimes what they really just need is the knowledge of being heard and the chance to slow their roll a little bit and bring down that escalation to a state where they might even be able to figure out the next step of what to do without my help. So sometimes after that, I might say, okay, I think I really understand the situation now. Do you feel like you have an idea of what to do next, or would you like some help? And sometimes they want help. Sometimes they do it by themselves. If they need a little more structured support, like let's say that they're having a conflict with each other and I'm there. Something I've set up in our house is that I will just pretend push a button on my hand, which I pretend is a remote control, and I'll say pause, and they know to freeze. So I'll say, oh, it feels like we're having a conflict right now, and I want us to think about a good way to solve it. I'm going to push the pause button, pause, and they'll kind of freeze. And I might have everybody just sit down right where they are. Because being grounded in space often helps kids and grown-ups be grounded in our hearts and our minds, right? We just need to kind of bring our energy on down, root ourselves to a certain space, and find that stillness around us that can help us proceed consciously. So then I might do a strategy that we've been doing lately because my kids are really interested in comic books and graphic novels. And so recently I created a strategy that I call Double Bubble. And what I have them do is pretend to blow up an imagination bubble above their heads. And it gets them to breathe, and it also gets them to reflect on what they're thinking. And so I'll say, blow your imagination bubble up 3 times if you want to. You don't have to, because the last thing I want is to be in like a battle of wills with my kids at that moment that they're already escalated. Say, but I'm going to blow mine up, and if yours just appears, that's okay too. But I don't want you to say anything right now. I want you to think about what is in your thought bubble. So we'll blow it up, and then we'll hold a bubble in our mouths. That's why it's called double bubble. Bubble above your head, bubble in your mouth, and that keeps us from talking. And I want you to think about what's in your thought bubble. And in a moment, I'll tell you, you can let go of the bubble in your mouth, and it will be so-and-so's turn to say what's in their thoughts. And it really slows them down and gives them a moment to reflect on their own thinking. And then I give one of them a chance to talk. And then I say, oh, but you're not going to respond yet to the other one. You're going to take a minute to blow up your bubble and think about what you want to say. And then it will be your chance to talk. So we really have a really slow paced conversation. Sometimes within that, I also give them little sentence starters that help them think about how to proceed in ways that will really move the conversation forward. I might say, the first thing I want you to say is to think in your imagination bubble about how you feel. Now I want you to say to the other one a sentence that starts with the words, maybe we could, or next time could you please? I didn't like it when. What if we tried this? I get a moment when I have that spaciousness because they're blowing up their imagination bubbles that I can think about how to guide it forward so that it's actually a productive conversation and not just a back and forth. Sometimes we do something similar, but it's a game that I call Read the Room, where we just pause and I tell the story, sometimes in the second person or sometimes in the third person of what's going on. So I might say, okay, let's play Read the Room. Everyone sit down where you are, and I'm going to tell the story of what's happening. This kid wanted to draw a picture together and use markers. This kid wanted to draw the picture together and use crayons. Then the kids began to feel angry at each other that they were making a different choice. Let's read the room. So and so, what do you think is in this kid's thought bubble right now? Is that right? Is that what's in your thought bubble? And then do it the other way. Let's pick what's going to be in our speech bubbles. Think about what you want to say next, and then get your speech bubble ready, and it's going to be your turn to talk. What should happen next in the story? How should we end this book that we're making together? Those things just kind of depersonalize what's happening with the kids, I think, in a way that promotes detachment and thoughtful, conscious response. And so there's many other things that I've done that have been helpful with this. But I thought for today I would just share a few that have been helpful to our family recently. And yeah, I think that what is helpful with them is that they're ways of kind of gently inviting children to practice. Because again, this is a practice. And as a practice, it's just like anything else that we practice and rehearse, which means that it can be challenging for us, that we should expect to have bumps along the way, that we should try our best to learn from those bumps and grow, but it's going to be something that we continually have to choose to work on. And when we do it in a way that gently invites our children to do that in a way that connects with who they are and where they are, the practice will go more smoothly for both of us. I hope that some of this is helpful and might work in your home. I'm happy to talk about more elements of detachment later. But for right now, I'm just sending a lot of love and good thoughts, and I hope you're all well today. Mwah. Bye.